Hello, Dr. Edoardo. How are you?
Very good, and you?
Doing great. This is the IDS first day, and it's my first time here.
Me too. For
First
me,
two guests, the third guest in a row
Okay.
that's saying the same thing. So, why haven't you come to the IDS before? Like, even though it's in Europe, like, why is this still your first time?
I don't know why. Maybe because for a speaker,
Yeah.
it's a dream to stay here like a speaker.
Okay.
So maybe I would to avoid to be here just a normal dentist. I don't know. So
you wanted to be
the
here as a
yeah,
speaker.
Yes. So
Nice.
so this is my idea because in 2023
Yeah.
I say to myself I want to be there like a speaker. So maybe yes, maybe
It works. It works. Anyway, so thank you very much for being in the podcast. This is the All Pulp No Fiction Dental Podcast, and
Okay.
we would like to have some quick talks.
Yes.
I attended a lecture that you did yesterday, and your lecture today in the morning, and you talked about injection molding technique. Why injection molding? In your opinion, why is this technique special?
I think that injection molding is. I love this technique because is is a simple technique to have an incredible result. So I know that the dentists, especially the dentists that love to do complicated things, prefer to avoid the injection because it seems too simple. But it's okay. It's simple. Maybe it's simple. Yes. So why not? We can have the perfect result with a simple solution. So
Why not do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the question is why the dentist not everybody use this technique. So and also with the modification of this technique you can have incredible aesthetic results. So
I see. And something about this technique is there are many techniques in dentistry, but being operator sensitive,
yes.
this kind of eliminates that. It's still technique sensitive, but kind of it makes it a very universal experience, right?
Yeah, I think that the end is the end. So, yes, of course, the sensitive of the dentist. There is the sensitive of the dentist. But for example, my girlfriend, she's not dentist, and she hear me every week to talk about injection, and so I try to do injection with her in her hand, and
It
it
works.
works.
It works.
So I think that you have to underline many points, many topics of the injection to avoid the problem in time. Yes, of course. But if you compare this technique with some other, maybe it's easier. It's easier to transfer to the other.
I see. Some of the things that, and I'm not sure, is it okay to talk about the holes that you put in and the meaning of these holes, like in order to avoid, excess material, or like, what are the tips that you can give people
Yes.
about this?
Sometimes the people that don't use this technique, the problem, underline the problem of this technique, the excesses. So my idea to teach this technique is to avoid the excesses. So the position of the perforation of the opening
Yeah.
is always incisal, but parallel to the buccal surface, because in my technique I want to inject from the cervical area to the incisal part, and when you inject you can control the excesses because you see. So if you go slowly at the end you will not have any kind of excesses.
I see. And when you said like you can see, like using a material like Exactlear is basically the reason that it's very easy to recognize whatever you're doing, right? You shared a point about Exactlear also, which is you have to leave it for around 24 hours. How did you figure that first? How did you know that this is the proper way to go?
Yes. So if you read the instruction about the Hexaclear, you will find that the classical time, so 7 minutes out of the mouth and 2.5 minutes into the mouth.
Yeah.
But if you search deep in the literature and also if you try the material, you know that the material can have any kind of transformation, about less than 1%, so some modification in 24 hours. Because this material has some kind of movement in that 24 hours. So, for example, during my courses, when I have the possibility to wait just 12 hours, the material is pretty harder than before. So, the idea is if you want a really stable material, stable at all, you have to wait 24 hours.
24 hours,
yes.
I see. And regarding the material that you like to use for the injection molding,
yes.
You mentioned GUI, right? Why is this material, in your opinion, very suitable for this technique?
Yes. I really try every kind of flowable on the market, every kind of, and there are many flowable that you can use for this technique, but the injectable, the genial injectable, have a incredible characteristic of translucency that could be a good characteristic and a bad characteristic. But if you want to use this material with a single shade, this translucency gives to the smile incredible brightness and also incredible aesthetic properties. So this is why I choose this material, because we have no doubt about the mechanical characteristic, but the aesthetic one are far more better.
And you prefer to use only one shade in this injection molding technique?
Generally, yes. Generally, yes, because if I have to take picture, for me, I want to do layering, etc., etc. But if I have to do injection in your mouth, maybe you will prefer the single shade, because generally the patient don't want any kind of gray on the incisor part. So generally the patient want white. So if the patient wants white, I give it using just a single shade.
I see. Also, one point that you mentioned, and I was very interested in, how did you get to this kind of, approach with the colors? You said like the color depends on the thickness.
Yes.
And that if you want to use this much thickness, it's better to go with this different color. Was this all trial and error? How did you go about it? Yeah.
Because I try a lot of cases and I work a lot on the model. So when I start to work with the injection, with the old material, I analyze my cases. I always work with the A1. So why A1 if I have not only patient with A1? Because the translucency of this material, if you don't have at least 1 millimeter of thickness, you cannot reach A1 using the A1. Because this material, for its translucency, to have that color of the Vita shade, you need to have at least 1 millimeter of thickness. So generally, in the injection technique, you have no 1 millimeter, but you have less than 1 millimeter. Generally, the mean value that you have of the thickness is 0.5. So if you want to reach, for example, day 1, you need a brightness color like B1. So my favorite color for this technique is B1 and A1 to get the A2 color of Vita shade.
I see. And if you're interested in actually knowing the different colors, you can reach out to Dr.
Yes.
Any last pointers or something that people listening to the podcast can learn that you would like to tell them through the podcast, or even who attend your lectures? If there's something you want them to remember, what would it be?
I think that the most important point is the WhatsApp. The WhatsApp has to be digital, and has to be chessboard. A chessboard walks up, so alternated walks up. Because the problem of this technique is the time that you have to spend to remove the excesses. So if you work with an alternated walks up, you won't have it.
So you do the wax ups digitally
Yes.
by yourself,
No, by technician.
by as a technician to do
but
it.
maybe
Yeah.
in the maybe if you work a lot with the computer, if a sort of nerd.
If you're a nerd, you can do it.
Yes, you can do it. Maybe better than your technique.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Anyways, thank you very much, doctor.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.